The way I kind of stepped back from Hollywood at one point, being the highest paid actor in Hollywood, but I felt like, it was a ceiling right there, and I wanted more. It wasn't enough.
You knew Jeffrey Epstein, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
The Chris Tucker that we got now is Epstein Island Chris Tucker, not Smokey.
Have you ever wondered why you don't see Chris Tucker in movies as much anymore? He just bounced from Hollywood when he was at the top of his game like Rush Hour was smashing records, and then poof, he's out. Rarely do we see a blockbuster superstar like him jump ship from Hollywood without a second thought, but that's exactly what happened. Katt Williams thinks it's because Tucker got too deep into the shady side of showbiz, like he saw things he couldn't unsee. It's almost like he got blackballed and you know how much big shots in Hollywood like doing that if you get in their bad books? It's basically over for you and your career. Well, Katt thinks that's exactly what happened to Chris. He thinks Chris was used and humiliated until they didn't need him anymore, so they tossed him away, and it's all because of Tucker's Epstein Island connection. Apparently, Chris Tucker's been in the mix, and it's got people talking now. Some people might doubt Katt Williams' story because, let's be real, he's no stranger to controversy. But there's some truth to what he's saying, plus reports about Tucker's connections to big names like Epstein have been out there. Well, turns out Tucker himself confirmed it. Yeah, they were in deep with Jeffrey Epstein. Crazy, right? But why is this such a big deal? Well, with Epstein's whole mess, having ties to him ain't a good look. It's got people wondering what really went down behind the scenes. When you hear Chris Tucker, you might think Rush Hour or stand-up comedy dude was killing it. Both realms still popping up on screens even years later. He was everywhere back in the day, but while his partner kept grinding, Tucker called it quits. This left everyone wondering why someone with so much potential would bail. Some said he was just loaded with cash already, but Williams dropped a bomb, implying there's more to it. But here's the kicker: Tucker realized Hollywood wasn't what he thought it was. Being on top opened his eyes to some sketchy stuff, and he decided to peace out. Miss Tucker's J. Orny from stand-up comedy to Hollywood stardom was like a roller coaster ride on steroids. He burst onto the scene with his clean and witty humor, catching everyone's attention on the Comedy Jam back in '92, but it was his film debut in House Party 3 that really kicked things off. Tucker held his own alongside legends like Bernie Mac and Mars Houston. Growing up in Atlanta with his crew of 2 sisters and 3 brothers, Chris knew how to keep the laughs rolling. From hosting talent shows to trying his hand at stand-up comedy, he was dead set on hit it big. At just 19, he packed his bags and headed to Los Angeles, ready to kickstart his comedy career. And man, did he hit the ground running. Chris Tuckering on the comedy scene, hitting up the Comedy Jam and rubbing elbows with legends like Bernie Mac. Then bam, he lands a gig in Ice Cube's Friday, and suddenly he's the talk of the town. Smokey became his thing, earning him mad props and MTV Movie Award nominations left and right. He also made waves in the music scene, appearing in music videos for heavyweights like Dr. Dre, Tupac, and Maze. But it was his role as Smokey in Friday that really put him on the map. Director F. Gary Gray saw something special in Chris. Even though his audition was just okay, Gray knew Chris's improv skills were off the charts and saw in him the potential to bring Smokey to life like nobody else could. Talk about being spot on. Back in the day, they wrapped up filming Friday with just $3.5 million and did it all in just 20 days. When that flick hit the screens in '95, Chris Tucker, Ice Cube, John Witherspoon, Tiny Liz, and Nia Long turned it into a straight-up cult classic. It in a cool $28.5 million, sending Chris's status as a legit actor through the roof. As Smokey, Chris had crowds rolling with laughter, showing off a whole new side to his talent. But let me tell you, 1997 was the year that flipped everything upside down for Tucker. First off, he killed it in The Fifth Element, blowing minds with its sci-fi madness and proving Tucker could handle big-budget blockbusters. In a viral interview on Shannon Sharpe's Club Shay, Tucker talked about why making another Friday movie could be a tough call given the loss of some great people from the original films. But Williams, not one to hold back, pointed out that Tucker, still kicking it, has changed since his days as Smokey in the '95 classic. Then came Money Talks, a comedy riot that had people busting a gut in the theaters, and just when you thought he couldn't top that, boom, he nails it in Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown, holding his own alongside big-name actors. But the real game changer, Rush Hour, Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker together on The big screen, it was gold. The Rush Hour trilogy was mint in cash faster than you could say money moves, and Chris was raking in those fat paychecks like there's no tomorrow in 2001 while Rush Hour 2 was blowing up the box office. Chris Tucker made a cameo in Michael Jackson's iconic You Rock My World music video, but then he kind of dipped out of sight until Rush Hour 3 dropped in 2007. Now, Rush Hour 3 had big shoes to fill after that long wait. But let's be real, it didn't quite hit the mark, but just as fast as he rose to fame, he seemed to disappear from the limelight. He just vanishes into thin air. Since then, Chris has only popped up in two more flicks, Silver Lining Playbook and Billy Lynn's Halftime Walk. But like one flop ain't enough to make someone disappear for over a decade, right? Too. Movies since 2010. That's it. What gives Chris? Turns out Chris Tucker was playing the long game. He was picky about his roles. He straight up said no thanks to parts in any given Sunday. Lethal Weapon 4 and John Go Unchained. Brett Ratner, the director of Rush Hour, once spilled the tea, estimating that Chris turned down nearly $100 million worth of gigs, and guess what? Chris confirmed it himself, saying he's all about those great experiences over backing cash, so you know how Chris Tucker was killing it in the Rush Hour movies, right? He was making bank living that AS life, but then he was like, hold up, there's more to life than just being a big shot in Hollywood. In an interview with My Classics at TL, Chris spilled the tea on why he dipped out of the spotlight. He was feeling like he hit a ceiling. Even as the highest paid actor in Tinseltown, he wanted something deeper, something that wasn't just about fame and fortune.
The way I kind of stepped back from Hollywood at one point, being the highest paid actor in Hollywood, but I felt like, it was a ceiling right there, and I wanted more. It wasn't enough.
Right.
So I stepped back, lived a little bit, traveled the world, and did a lot of humanitarian stuff that really broadened my perspective for the world. That, it ain't just about me being the biggest comic or actor in the world. It's about, becoming somebody to give to the world, inspire in some kind of way.
So he took a step back, did some soul-searching, traveled the world, and got into doing humanitarian work. And don't get it twisted, Chris ain't hurting for cash. According to Celebrity Worth, he made a cool $50 million from Rush Hour alone, after adjusting for inflation that's like $65 million. So yeah, he's good. Tucker was the talk of Tinseltown, hanging with the listers like Jamie Foxx. Speaking of Foxx, he once spilled the tea about how Tucker's sudden rise made him feel some type of way during a real talk. On The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Foxx admitted he was shook when Tucker stole the spotlight.
As I'm standing outside the club, the door opened. I'm like, who is that on stage? I said, because I just came off. I'm Jamie Foxx. Who could that be funnier than me? And I opened that door. It was a skinny little black dude with a tank top on that didn't fit. It was Chris Tucker. And when I say he was murdering them, and it shook me, and I knew that I wasn't funny like that no more. I even was on my way to the Comedy Store, and in my head I'm thinking I'm the man, right? And this girl says, "Oh my God, oh my God!" And I was like, "What's up?" She said, "Do you know where Chris Tucker's performing?" I was like,
But behind all the glitz, Tucker was feeling trapped. Hollywood success often means getting typecast, stuck in the same old roles, and Tucker wasn't vibing with it. He wanted more than just the same old gig, so he started turning down big bucks for roles that didn't match his vision. Some people called him picky, others saw it as him going against the grain. But here's the kicker, Hollywood wasn't seeing past his skin color. They kept offering him those same old stereotypical roles, trying to put him in a box. And don't even get me started on typecasting, Hollywood's way of keeping people like Tucker boxed in, not giving them a chance to show their full range. So while Tucker made a few cameos here and there, people started wondering if he'd make a big comeback or if he'd lost his mojo. But the real deal is Tucker was playing a risky game in a cutthroat industry. Hollywood likes to keep control, preferring actors who fit their mold, but Tucker, he was all about breaking free and showing what he's made of. And though he hit the jackpot with his career, he wasn't feeling it. Hollywood had him feeling boxed in, so he made a bold move and stepped back. Instead of chasing fame and fortune, he wanted something deeper. In an interview, Tucker spilled the tea about why he dipped from Hollywood. He wasn't about to let the industry control him, from his career choices to how he lived his life. Hollywood's all about keeping people in line, but Tucker wasn't having it. He wanted to be his own boss, not some puppet on a stud. Ring, and let's talk about emasculation. Hollywood had Tucker feeling some type of way, always pushing him into roles that didn't show his full range. It was like they couldn't see past his humor to his depth as an actor. This mess wasn't just holding him back, it was feeding into harmful stereotypes about black men. But Tucker wasn't about to let Hollywood bring him down. He stayed true to himself even when it meant turning down big roles. Some fans respected his hustle, while others thought he was just rebelling against the system. But in Hollywood, they weren't exactly helping matters. Their total lack of diversity and refusal to get with the times, it was seriously holding back awesome artists like Tucker. It was like they were stuck in the past, handing out the same old scripts and expecting different results. No wonder Tucker wanted out. And let's not forget about Tucker's roller coaster ride with his finances. Dude was living large, dropping mad cash on a swanky pad in Orlando. But then TMZ dropped the bomb about his unpaid taxes, and California came knocking with a fat bill. But Tucker hustled his way out of debt. According to Katt Williams, Tucker's sudden exit might be tied to some dark stuff in the industry. Williams hinted that Tucker might have rubbed shoulders with Jeffrey Epstein,